This is When Rom Met Com, the podcast where we break down what makes a date movie a great movie. We're currently working our way through Vanity Fair's list of the 42 best romantic comedies of all time to see if they had us at hello or were a big mistake, huge. I'm Nora.
And I'm Jack.
And today, we are discussing number 28, Harold and Maude.
Yeah, this is huge. The first time both of us are doing a movie from before we were born.
Yes.
And also huge because I have my old friend, Will Webb, filmmaker, writer, director,
auteur.
I'm
glad to be here as well, just for probably the only thing on your list that's on the Criterion Collection.
We've already had one that's on the Criterion Collection.
Oh, but I'm a cheerleader.
Nope.
No?
Defending Your Life.
What? Okay.
I think every Albert Brooks film is currently on the Criterion Collection.
Someone on the inside, obviously.
Yeah.
When you say currently, is that not a permanent state of being? Can things be
removed?
removed?
No, it is a permanent state of being. Things could be added.
Sure.
Yeah. Stuff goes out of print, but nothing gets taken off. I mean, I think you'd have to do something really rough to get taken off the Criterion Collection.
I don't know. I feel like people have done stuff really rough and they're still on the Criterion.
Yeah, that's what I mean. I mean, we haven't found the limit yet.
Yeah.
It'd be really rough.
Yeah. My favorite member of the Criterion Collection is Armageddon.
Is that on it?
Yeah.
Wow. I mean, I know Wall-E is on it.
I would argue that Wall-E deserves it as well.
Wall-E's a fair one.
Hard agree.
Yeah,
that's a good rom-com.
Wall-E
yes, it
is a good rom-com.
Wall-E is an excellent rom-com.
And it's not on the list.
Oh.
Vanity Fair does it again.
Wall-E is an excellent film to discuss in the sort of rise of AI.
If you do a musical episode, because it's arguably in conversation with Hello Dolly, right?
Yeah.
So
very good
and
point.
We talk about Hello Dolly on our Bridget Jones 4 episode.
Oh, yeah, we do. Because Bridget Jones 4 and Hello Dolly are both ostensibly comedies, but they're actually about grief.
Oh.
Yeah. Bridget Jones 4 is troublingly sad, right?
Oh.
I read the synopsis and I was like, wow, I have no idea how you open this film with what happens in that film. I just can't imagine it.
It's really good, though.
It's really good.
It's really sad in the best possible way.
But also manages to be really funny.
I'm a complete Bridget Jones denier, so you're gonna have a really hard time winning me around. Sorry
do you denier in I thought you meant in a climate change denier, and you don't believe it exists.
Yeah, I've seen it. That's the problem. The only thing that I really remember about Bridget Jones that I like is that the flat that she lives in is above the youth hostel that Amanda Bynes goes to in She's the Man.
What a Girl Wants.
What a Girl Wants. Yeah, correct. They had the same location manager.
Wow.
So there you go. Now, that's the kind of quality trivia that I'm going to be supplying today. So hopefully I actually have nothing as good as that for this.
Oh, well, everybody go home.
That's it. I don't hate Bridget Jones. It just has absolutely nothing for me.
That is okay.
I'm sort of I really don't like dried fruit, right? And I understand the artistry that goes into a fruitcake, and I understand why people like it. I just personally think there's nothing there for me.
That is such slam. I don't like Bridget Jones. I don't like dried fruit either.
I'm just
and Bridget Jones is the driest fruit of them all.
I'm just making enemies with old British people, left, right, and center on this.
But realistically, and you seem great. I'm sure a lot of people like you. Realistically,
Wow.
A lot more people like dried fruit than any of us. So it's not really a criticism to compare it to dried fruit.
Most people don't have the opportunity to try me, though.
Oh.
Yeah. Whereas dried fruit, people cramming that into a baby's face since year dot.
Well, I'm getting that opportunity today.
To try Will?
Yeah.
Hello.
And I'm
Nora,
thrilled.
he just got married.
Whoa, that's not what I meant.
I want to give backstory to how Will and I know each other.
Yeah, shoot.
Will and I used to serve on the student council at our sixth form.
Not even at the same time.
No, at the same time.
I'm pretty sure that I was the year after.
We were in meetings together, man. We chose the new menu for
Oh, yeah. Okay. Yeah. Oh, good times. And as part of that, as I was saying earlier, we, I think in consecutive years, rather than at the same time, wore the same dress. The school somehow had this kind of bright pink costume dress that we wore for breast cancer awareness for some reason. So I think me and you were just the most likely to wear it in that group.
Yeah.
And somehow it fell to us as a result. They had that picture up at my wedding. Me in that dress. Yeah.
Oh, it's a good dress. I
Thanks.
hope they still have it.
I hope they wash it.
Yeah. You were head of environment services or something?
Yeah. I ran the allotment at school.
That's nice.
Yeah. We harvested new potatoes that were served in the cafeteria. Thank you very much.
Nice.
Me doing my bit for the planet. One potato at a time.
I also studied drama with your sister.
who would say hello had I remembered to tell her that I was coming here. Hello, Sarah.
Hello, Sarah. Yeah, that's our history. And then you are...
That's not all of our history, because the very first film that I worked on that wasn't like me and my mates mucking about
was
you and your mates mucking
Yeah.
about, and I helped you shoot and then edit like a sitcom pilot.
I would include you as one of my mates in this.
It's true.
Will, what is your relationship to rom-coms?
My relationship to rom-coms is that I have a single mum, so I grew up watching rom-coms non-stop. Single mum, twin sister, rom-coms were like on a loop in my house. My mum was kind of unfeasibly interested in Serendipity, the John Cusack rom-com.
Unfeasibly interested, like,
Liked
was
it
she
enough
like...
to buy the soundtrack on CD?
I just felt like she like used it as like a text to live life.
I mean, it was like, this was also like, my mum, lovely woman, loves self-help books. So I feel like reading Paulo Coelho's The Promise and then watching a film that essentially has that as a rom-com premise is probably like, yeah, it chimed with her worldview at the time, perhaps. And she also really liked Just Like Heaven, which I also really like.
I also like it.
I like
Very
Just Like
strange film, really.
Yeah, it
but
is.
it's like the kind of plot that if it was done in the 1940s would have had like some screwball comedy actors in it and would have worked better, maybe.
It's from that period when Mark Ruffalo agents were trying to sell him as like the big rom-com
Sorry,
thing.
what do you mean trying to sell? The king behind one of the best rom-coms of all time, 13 Going on 30, which has, I think, one of the best, he does the best job of balancing a realistic reaction to what seems to be a psychotic break in someone he's not seen in like 15 years with like something that doesn't feel out of place. I watched a kind of young adult rom-com the other day with Julia Stiles in it, which is sort of, she falls in love with a Danish prince who's come
The
to her
Prince and
university.
Me.
Yeah.
A classic.
Kind of dreadful, but what's crazy about it is that Julia Stiles is actually too good. She's such a good dramatic actor that she's looking for like, okay, so what feels right as like a response to the situation? And it makes everything a bit sadder than it should be because the plot is kind of sad. It's like, it's not frothy enough. Reese Witherspoon would have threaded the needle. That's a long way of getting around to the fact that like, yeah, rom-coms have always been big. They When Harry Met Sally, Sleepless in Seattle, and then the B-list sort of like, the Love of Cats and Dogs or something like that.
Oh, Truth About Cats and
Yeah,
Dogs.
Truth About Cats and Dogs is kind of like a kind of my mum's rotation.
So what is your favorite rom-com?
That's a really tough one. I do think it's 13 Going on 30 because I think it's like extremely sweet. I love a rom-com with like a slightly fantastical twist. And I also think the soundtrack is great in it. That was kind of like the peak of music supervision in Hollywood when they weren't paying too much to like get streaming rights as well for the music. So it ends up being just great. A lot of like...
fucking Billy Joel number.
Yeah.
Vienna crushes me. Anytime I listen to it, I just think of like Jennifer Garner sitting in that cupboard at her parents' house. It's so sad.
The opening montage has like Jesse's Girl over it. And then Mark Ruffalo, like baby Mark Ruffalo character is like, this song's gross, which I think is great. Like is accurate and also a great tune. So yeah. Oh, and Thriller. Andy Serkis dances to Thriller in that, which I think is like probably how I learned that dance.
Jennifer Garner is one of the only famous West Virginians.
Oh.
Ooh.
And we are very proud of her as a state. We love Jennifer Garner.
I love Jennifer Garner because I'm like a human with a heart.
Oh, well, yes.
Yeah.
So.
Back on track.
So, we are here to talk about Harold and Maude.
Yes, you asked for this one.
Yeah.
Out of the list I gave
Which is
you.
crazy because I didn't actually really enjoy it. Sorry to say.
Oh, no.
It was a really interesting watch. And I think I'd always needed a reason to sit down and finally watch it. I feel like this film is one that like, when you're like, I like films at 14, like an uncle or something will be like, oh, you should see Harold and Maude because it's like the one movie they liked that didn't have explosions in it.
I told someone yesterday that we were covering this film and they were like, oh, I know that movie. It's on like my 1,000 films to watch before you die list.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yeah, that makes
And yeah,
sense.
it was a really interesting watch. I mean, it's like maybe the most 1970s film I've ever seen, potentially.
Yes. Particularly the costumes.
Cat Stevens does all the music, and you're like, of course he does. Of course he does.
So none of us had seen it. We
I
all
hadn't seen
watched it specifically for this.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's directed by Hal Ashby and stars Ruth Gordon, Bud Cort, our second Bud Cort movie.
What?
After
But I'm a
Bud Number
cheerleader.
Two.
Oh, yeah. Okay. He's not been in much.
Vivian Pickles, Cyril Cusack in like one scene, and Charles Tyner. It was released on the 20th of December, 1971. So, you know, big Christmas movie.
It does not feel like a Christmas movie.
I guess in the kind... No. Yeah. No, you're right.
It was made on a budget of $1.2 million. That's 1970s dollars.
Oof.
And it has a Rotten Tomato score of 86%. The IMDb describes it as young, rich, and obsessed with death. Harold finds himself changed forever when he meets a lively septuagenarian, Maude, at a funeral. And, Will, you wanna guess the IMDb rating?
I'm going to give it 7.6 because I think the teens on IMDb are not going to enjoy it.
You're close.
Okay.
7.8.
Wow.
I am well calibrated to this.
Good
It's
job.
crazy. The thing is, you have to pick a number that you like and then think about how people could be wrong about it. Yeah.
Mm.
Nora, what does Vanity Fair have to say about this?
One of the most unconventional, yet life-affirming comedies ever made comes from auteur Hal Ashby. Bud Cort stars as Harold, a troubled youth whose fascination with death colors his entire worldview. That is, until Ruth Gordon's Maude, a lively septuagenarian who forces her younger counterpart to acknowledge life's beauty, enters the picture. Like its titular characters, the movie is both sweet and sour in its depiction of the pair's bizarre friendship. While the couple spends most of the film having philosophical chats and walking through fields of flowers, their dark ending looms. But leave it to Ashby to make even a character's inevitable death feel oddly uplifting. Thank you, Savannah Walsh from Vanity Fair.
It's interesting to describe it. When was this list published?
It was originally published in 2018, but was updated in 2025.
I think it's interesting to describe it as unconventional now. Like, I think it was
Mm.
unconventional when it came out, like very unconventional. But my argument is that this film basically, if not invented, codified manic pixie dream girl.
That was also my
That's
point.
my point.
Yeah.
Oh, come on.
We're on the same wavelength. This
Okay,
is
well,
great.
should we just jump into that?
Well, I just wanted to ask before as you went on with this, how old's Harold? How old do you think that guy is?
It was written that he was like 20-ish.
Yeah. Bud Cort was 23 when they shot it, or when it was released.
And I think in the book, he's described as being 19 going on 20.
But, like Nicholas Hoult in Warm Bodies, which Jack and I both watched yesterday, he could be in his 20s, but he could be a teen. He just has one of those faces.
He looks like a little boy. Harold's opening scene, I was like, okay, so this kid is like home from school, like home from boarding school.
Right, I thought like
This
16.
14-year-old,
Yeah.
15. And then he drives, and I was like, okay, but I'm not American, so I can't remember when.
16.
Okay, so like if Lorelai Gilmore could drive, if Rory can drive, then so could Bud Cort maybe.
As is all Lord. If Lorelai Gilmore can
My
do
most sustained experience of American living is Gilmore Girls. So
Yeah,
like that's
yeah.
all I have. And if you want to talk about how good a rom-com can be, just saying. But then his mum is like, you should marry. And it's obviously supposed to be absurd. But I don't actually think, if he's 23, I think that's probably quite close to the median marriage age.
Yeah.
He's meant to be 20.
Right. Okay.
So that's too young to be getting married, but she wants to get rid of him.
Yeah.
And also it was the 70s. People got married younger then.
Yeah, it was just something to do.
But I spent
Didn't have Netflix,
most
Jack.
of the movie really afraid that he was under the age of consent.
Yes, yeah.
Like, that does make a really big difference. Because as long as they are both consenting adults, I buy into the romance of this.
Yeah. You're just being like, she's not gonna fuck that kid, huh? Oh, shit. Oh, imagine though, that is one of those things where you're like, swap the genders, and this movie is fucking weird. It's real weird.
Yeah.
I'm not saying, I don't think that's always the most
Old
like valid or
man
interesting
approaches
thing.
young woman at funeral is very distressing.
I do also think that like the film is not saying this is like a super cool thing necessarily,
Mhm,
right?
mhm.
It's like, hey, this is weird. These two people are obviously like in very weird places in their lives. Yeah, I don't know. It's a weird vibe for sure.
It is weird. It's also beautiful because it actually, to me, seems very healthy for Harold to be in this relationship.
They don't fuck for a while.
It's the most healthy thing he does, seemingly, in the movie.
Yeah.
Although the whole thing, so she comes up to him at this funeral and she says, I'm 80 next week. And it ends on her 80th birthday. So max 2 weeks. Like if it was Monday to the following Sunday.
So he has like 3-4 dates during that period. He remodels a sports car. He gets conscripted into military school and then gets out of it. It's like this, yeah, a crazy set of events.
got a
I was
full
wondering
life.
if maybe
I don't
it's
think
like
it was
Shakespeare.
military school. I think it was just the military.
The military,
Oh, okay,
yeah.
oh yeah, of course, right? Yeah, he's just going straight in.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm again thinking that he's like 12.
He pretends to murder someone. He stages like 4 or 5 fake suicides.
I think someone
He's having
actually
a-
dies in
He's
this.
having a busy week.
Am I right? Someone actually dies in this?
You think Sunshine dies?
I think Sunshine dies.
I also think maybe Sunshine
She
dies.
cuts her throat with a big samurai knife. Like,
Yeah.
it's real. He's
Yeah.
just done it. He's doing something fake with it.
Someone does die in this, and it's Maud.
Okay.
Wow, spoilers.
spoilers.
But also all the funerals they attend. So
Yeah.
actually multiple people. The body count is pretty high for a rom-com.
Most people die off screen.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's true.
I don't know what happened to Maude after she fell down that hole.
Yeah, because I'm unclear as to how they did some of his tricks in this. It's unclear to me.
We have the same brain.
Ugh. Nora, do you know what I watched yesterday as well? I
Warm
did not watch
Bodies?
Warm Bodies. No, sorry.
I love this film because I love the times where it just plays like a Looney Tunes cartoon, which
real.
is one of my favorite things any movie can do.
It's so funny.
One of the things I actually found like really hard to get a sense of in this was like, it's got this really, really funny and really solid grasp on like the absurd, right? It's like all these like immaculate deaths that he puts together for himself just as some kind of like performance art.
His uncle is one of the funniest absurd characters I've ever seen.
But the uncle and also like the priest are kind of like a different kind of like quite shtick-led kind of comedy that to me is like pretty different. And I found it weird to like mix those together, especially with, I think we're supposed to be taking kind of Maude's advice earnestly. So I found that hard to connect because I was like, this lady is giving us earnest advice, but she's also made smellable art. And I don't know how I can line those things up.
The thing about his suicide performance art, the production values are so high.
That's where all the money's going. He's not going to inherit anything.
I mean,
Right?
like after this movie, he becomes a magician, right?
Yeah.
Truly, because how does he pretend to hang himself without actually hanging himself?
I mean, there is, do you want to know how they do it in movies? Because he's doing it
Yeah.
in the film, right?
Yes.
They wear a special harness with a loop on it that goes up the back of your collar and loops onto the rope. And that's how you do it.
How does he set himself on fire and walk
Well,
back?
it's not
It's
him.
a dummy. He walks away from it, but it does happen during the same shot. So yeah, I was a bit
It's
mixed on that.
Yeah.
That's a great moment.
That's so good.
And his like ritual suicide. I guess it was a fake knife, but he was just wearing a blood pack just in case.
Oh, I think Harold's walking around prepped the whole time.
Yeah.
Like I think because
Okay.
in that instance he's not prepared at all. He seems to decide on the spur of the moment
So
to do that.
Yes.
So I think he has just got a squib on at all times.
One of my feelings watching this, one of the most popular shows on Netflix at the moment is a show called Wednesday. And I feel like this is the far better sort of like Addams Family, like prequel spin-off kind
oh my
of thing.
God. I
Like-
ship Harold and Wednesday.
Like,
Yeah.
but like, isn't Harold just like Little Gomez? Like,
Yes.
that is he's about to grow up and meet Morticia after.
Maybe
Like,
it's a prequel.
that's how I felt. I've written it is a prequel to like,
Oh, I love that.
That's when he goes back to boarding school.
like he is
Yeah.
just like driving that hearse around.
Mhm.
Diddle-diddle.
But you know who I genuinely ship Harold with is Sunshine Doré.
Yeah, Sunshine's cool as hell. I feel like the movie actually kind of wusses out at the ending. And I think the ending's a bit of a cop-out because I think the more interesting ending is that Harold meets someone his own age who is like an actor. And she's like, oh, cool, you're doing all this performance stuff. That's cool. And he's like, oh, I can actually just connect with other people outside of this like really bizarre world that I built for myself. I think that's like certainly an option and maybe better than the... This is what I meant about it being unconventional at the time. Because now, like, I've just been teaching film school recently. And if one of my students wrote a script that was like, and then the character kills themselves at the end, I'd be like, that's boring. That's cliche. Go back and rewrite it.
Well, Harold lives.
No, but she kills herself.
Yeah.
And of course, this film script was written in film school.
Yeah, it is a student film and it feels like it, personally.
Well, in my alternate ending, / we don't know for sure that Sunshine is dead. I do agree she's probably dead, but in my headcanon, she's alive. And Harold leaves his relationship with Maude much healthier and happier. He mourns, and then he marries Sunshine Doré, and they become traveling circus performers.
They become Gomez and Morticia Addams.
Okay, yeah, that's better.
They're going to do a magic act together.
Yeah.
Yeah. But they interchange who wears the top hat every night.
I want to know what happens to Harold's mum.
She was my favorite.
She's so cool. I think there's supposed to be a bit of a like, oh, she really doesn't like it. But I'm like, no, she's doing so much for her son and she seems kind of rad.
So
Yes.
I think the most I laughed is her doing the dating service
Yes.
form
Just for herself.
him.
Do you think the sexual revolution has gone too far? Well, yes.
I certainly do.
Don't you, Harold? He's just sitting there silent.
Oh, and he shoots himself in the head, and somehow it's a fake gun, but it leaves a mark on his head, and it has enough kick that he like falls over in the chair. High production values.
Yeah. The guy's focused, I would say.
I love his mom so much. And okay, so I was trying to work out, like, why does he do all these fake suicides? Like, what need is this meeting? And my first theory, because we never see his dad, is that maybe he walked in, maybe his dad killed himself and he was the one who found the body. And I haven't ruled that out, but he does explain later why he does it, which is that he was at boarding school and he accidentally blew up the science lab And he ran away to sort of, just exited the scene of the crime and went home. And his mom, who was giving a dinner party, didn't know he was home. So the police turned up and said, your son died in this accident. And she fell into their arms. Like, she was devastated. She was like, she had this huge emotional reaction, which he had never gotten from her ever before. And he says, at that moment, I decided I'd enjoy being dead. And so he stages all these suicides to get this emotional reaction from his mom. So he's clearly emotionally starved.
Yeah, because he's committing suicide, and she's like, you must think this is very funny, Harold.
I mean, that opening is like a great reveal where he like very dramatically,
Yes.
like long single shot, kills himself, and she's just like so over it. And I do like that kind of comes back when Sunshine has maybe actually stabbed herself, and she's just like, oh, for God's sake, and just kind of walks out, which is great.
That was your last date, Harold.
Yeah, amazing.
And I think she knows she's dead and has that reaction.
yeah.
That was my read.
Well, it's like a comment on like the rich of the time, I guess. It's just sort of like, I don't care. The only thing I care about is like what time dinner is.
Yeah, in terms of the manic pixie dream girl, how did people feel about that? Because I guess for me, like, we have all the constituent elements, which is that like an upper class guy who's kind of struggling with like expressing himself ends up in a relationship with someone who seems to live a more bohemian life, a woman.
Yeah.
And then she, like, much to the chagrin of his like relatives, ends up drawing him into this romantic relationship that ultimately doesn't pan out. And implicitly, he's now prepared to have a better relationship with someone more suitable.
I would argue that it's the best version of a
Yes.
manic pixie dream girl.
I agree.
Like, the reason we don't like the manic pixie dream girl as a sort of like trope is because it feels so like ridiculous.
It's like reductive of people. It's
Yeah.
like flattening, right? Yeah.
So I did a lot of reading on this, actually. I found an article by the guy who coined the phrase manic pixie dream girl, and he like seriously regrets it.
Oh, interesting. Because it's overused.
Yeah.
It's an analysis, like the Bechdel test,
Yeah.
which is not used for its original intent at all. Yeah.
Right.
People always regret what they bring to the world.
So
Wow.
he intended to call out a sexist trope and ended up creating a sexist trope, is sort
Yeah.
of his point. His name is Nathan Rabin.
Yes.
I pulled some definitions that he gives in an article that he wrote. So he says, it's an archetype, I realized, that taps into a particular male fantasy of being saved from depression and ennui by a fantasy woman who sweeps in like a glittery breeze to save you from yourself, then disappears once her work is done. And that's Maude.
And then there's Maude.
She's turning up to the funerals with her yellow umbrella. She's handing out licorice. She's
Look at her
stealing cars. She's got a real like Marla Singer energy for
Yeah.
me. But at the same time, the definition that he gives is a fancifully, if thinly conceived, flibbertigibbet who has no reason to exist except to cheer up one miserable guy. And that's where I think it doesn't fit, because she is not thinly conceived.
Yeah.
She does have an inner life. I believe that she is quirky and kooky when she is not around Harold and not around men.
Yeah, she's off getting her ice sculptures done.
Yes.
Like,
Yes.
Making her art. She has a
Yeah.
long art history that we
Yes.
get walked
she
through.
paints the saints.
She is a Holocaust survivor.
Yeah.
I see that's something for me that doesn't work in the film, because I was interested in that. I think the film treats that quite cheaply. I would say I'm about as interested in that as the film is,
Yeah.
which is to say it isn't. It doesn't really explore it.
I missed it in the film, actually, and did not. I must have looked away because I did not pick that up until I read it on the Wikipedia.
And I think there's probably maybe like 2 more scenes would help that just make a bit more sense. At the end, it might explain
agree.
like why she's so committed to like living this very free lifestyle. But there's also like, it seems like if that's true, then she's probably been lying about a lot of the stuff that she's said about her background and stuff, right?
Do you think?
She says she's a countess from like an old royal background. And she talks about kings and kingdoms and all this stuff. She's supposed to be like old European, and they looked at European actors almost exclusively for her. So like, I think there's an implication that some of her backstory is made up to hide something a bit more painful. But I don't think the film is interested in talking about that. And I think it's too big a thing to just drop in just to deepen a character.
Yeah.
For me, I think, again, in the 70s, that might have felt more transgressive than it does now. But it didn't feel like a good treatment of that.
Yeah, I agree that we needed to explore it more, because I also missed it the first time. I saw it the second time. And I think that if we're writing like an essay on this film,
Yeah.
then knowing that she's a Holocaust survivor gives you a lens through which to view like the impermanence of the way that she's living. Like, she lives in a train car.
Yeah.
She could sort of get up and leave everything at any moment. She, decides the manner of her own death because that is a thing that she can control. There's all this stuff that like academically makes sense, but I agree that the movie did not spend enough time on it.
Yeah, I just like, I think it's a weird balance. And to be fair, like we don't get much background on anyone, but no one else is linked so much to like a very specific, real, painful thing. Do you know what I mean?
We don't really know where Harold's family's money comes from.
Harold's dad is dead, but we don't know how. Or like you said, like the implication of a childhood trauma there, I think, is pretty clear.
Yeah.
If this movie was made now, Celine Song does Harold and Maude. Who do you think would play Maude?
Well, so I think about this a lot.
Do you?
I do, actually, because they recently did a prequel to Rosemary's Baby,
Yes.
which the original starred Ruth Gordon as the old lady. One of my favorite performances ever. And they did the remake, and it was Diane Wiest.
I think Bud Cort would almost certainly be that kid who was in The Leftovers, right? It just feels like it would just go to him kind of by default. He's already pretended to be in the 70s.
I mean, it's one
so,
of the kids from, like, It.
Yeah, Millie Bobby Brown in a gender-swapped Harold and Maude.
Did you get Bette Midler?
Timothy Chalamet and Bette Midler.
Yeah.
Not a bad flick.
I do want to talk on Ruth Gordon for a bit, because I do think she is very good.
She's great in
this
it.
movie.
She was easily my favorite thing in it.
Ruth Gordon is so beautiful.
Hmm?
If I age half as well, I will die happy.
I can see it happening.
So beautiful. And her fashion in this
Yeah.
movie,
Huge.
like her best look is the one where they're playing the piano and they're dancing, and she's in this like long velvet dress,
Yeah.
and she's got this like frosty eyeshadow and this like orangey pink lipstick, and her hair's all like piled up on top of her head, and I was like,
I am definitely getting like an old empire vibe off her, like a Viennese, like because she wears that lovely evening dress and she has that dressing gown after they steal the tree.
Yeah.
I mean, all the looks in this film, like the outfits in this film are spectacular, but that is the 70s.
Yeah.
He looks so 70s, and he looks so good.
His lapel is maybe bigger than his shoulders.
Oh.
It stretches right out. I think they're making him up to look paler than he is as well. He looks like he's caked up. Not in the modern sense, but in like the pancake makeup sense at several points. Again, another thing that made it very hard to triangulate his age. But I also think that's just the 70s, right? I was watching Dr. No for the first time recently, and I was like, wow, like Sean Connery's younger than me in this, which is insane because he looks like shit. I mean, he looks hot as hell, but he looks like old.
No, I know exactly what you mean.
Thinking about modern stuff with it as well, I was wondering who you think this is like influenced, because I definitely got like a Wes Anderson vibe.
Oh yeah,
at
one of my
several
earliest
points.
notes is Wes Anderson vibes.
What do you think's the peak Wes Anderson in this?
The therapist and him wearing the same clothes.
It's like from behind them while they sit in wingback chairs, and then it cuts to exactly the same framing but the other angle, and I'm like, Wes Anderson's been stealing this shit since day one.
Like, Harold is very much Max Fisher.
Yeah, Jason Schwartzman in Rushmore. Yeah,
like
100%.
Like, and even like the Rushmore's May-September romance is also like, feels like it comes from this, and Bill Murray feels like a character who could exist within the Harold and Maude universe. And in the same way that Wes Anderson is obviously influenced by Roald Dahl, this feels Roald Dahlish as well.
In terms of shot composition, there's the sequence near the end where we're getting the reactions to the engagement.
Yeah.
And we've got the uncle, the therapist, and the priest, and they're all sitting. It's like sort of quite a tight shot on them, like disapproving.
It's
and
like
there's
a
a portrait
on.
behind each of them. There's his uncle and a portrait of Nixon, his psychoanalyst and a portrait of Freud, and the priest and a portrait of someone who I assume is the Pope, some religious figure.
I think that's very funny, to be honest.
Yeah.
They've all got their favorite people.
Yeah, exactly.
I love the psychoanalyst being like, oh, you know, they want to marry their mother. You want to marry your grandma. Like,
it's also like, I think there is a really good visual sense of comedy in the film across it. And that's one of the things I really loved about it. And that's Hal Ashby, right? Like through and through.
So this is actually the only Hal Ashby movie I've seen.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I was nodding like I know.
He's famous because he like, all of his movies feel like this in various directions. Yeah, I would recommend checking them all out. He's an interesting guy. He started out as an editor, so he cut like In the Heat of the Night and stuff like that. He'd actually won an Oscar by this point already for his editing. I was interested reflecting on that because it's like the funniest jokes in this are edits.
Oh no, I've seen The Last Detail, sorry.
Oh, which is great.
Yeah.
That's probably his best film. But yeah, like the edit jokes, like the bit when his mum buys him that sports car. And she's like, well, I think it's lovely. And then it just cuts to him like turning on a blowtorch. It's like a classic Gilligan cut sort of moment and very editorial. But I loved when they were having a chat and then it just zooms out and they're like in this huge graveyard. And I'm like, this is a great, great shot and very funny and sort of like in a clever, absurd way. Or the car like zooming by with a stolen tree in the back is like a
Yes.
beautiful but also very funny image.
The shot of the graveyard, I think it's also making a symbolic point. The film feels pretty anti-war.
Where'd you pick that up?
So they're sitting and having this conversation in a field of daisies. And she says, I'd like to be a sunflower. What kind of flower would you like to be? And he says, oh, maybe one of these because they're all the same. And she goes, they're not all the same. And she makes the point that the problem with the world is that people who are like this, and shows one individual daisy, allow themselves to be treated like this, like the massive daisies.
Yeah.
And then we pull out to this military cemetery where all the graves look exactly the same. So it's this like idea of mass death and anonymity and the pointlessness of it all.
Yeah.
But it's also really funny.
Yeah. And I mean, it is, you're right. It's like, I think one of its only consistent political points of view is that the war in Vietnam is bad. Controversial, but true.
Well, his uncle trying to make a point for the economic benefits of war
Yeah. And he's
is
like,
wild.
we should go back to fighting the Germans.
Yeah.
Like, they were good bad guys. We'll fight them.
We missed that. Those good old days. I gotta say, the uncle's little thing that he's rigged up to make him
Oh.
salute with the
So
one
good.
hand,
Oh my
I was
God.
dying.
And then
Like,
the fact that he then accidentally sets it off just after Maude like fakes her death is like so good.
it's
Such
so
a good callback.
funny. I love the sequence where Harold is pretending that he's gonna join the
He's got
military.
like extreme bloodlust, and it's like too much even for his uncle. I mean, it's just great. Of all the comedy in it, I really liked it when it was doing like shtick, like the priest being like, "Was she driving my car?" and the kind of structural comedy, the callbacks and things. And for me, that was more effective than the like sometimes slightly cloying sort of like, you got to hold on to life kind of stuff.
Mm.
Because I was like, I don't know, if your version of life is like, I got to go around robbing one car a day to keep me young, is sort of like a wild position to kind of advocate for.
I don't know if that was so. I think her like idea. It's almost like communistic. All the cars are ours. Like we can all share within them, and the laws are stupid. And I'm gonna die anyway. So why am I going?
I just like that, like, she's kind of a piece of shit in the eyes of society, at least. I think that's probably what they find in common in the end with each other, right? There's this long section at the start. It's quite a while before we really meet Maude properly, where it's sort of like his mum and other people trying to give him different things you might do with your life. So it's like, you know, maybe you could get married, or maybe you could join the army, or you could like go and talk to a priest about it, or a
Get a hobby.
psychotherapist. Yeah, get a
Yeah.
hobby. And there are all these kind of alternate routes on life that are societally supported, and he's not really finding it in it. So the fact that she is kind of a piece of shit, which I say slightly jokingly, is the thing that makes them bond in the end. She's sort of transgressive in a way that helps him.
The first time he smiles is 25 minutes into the movie, and it's when he drives her home from the funeral.
Aw.
Yeah. I really like the bit where he like wins her something at the fair and he gives it to her and she's like, what a beautiful present, and then throws it into the water. And he doesn't look angry or even taken aback. He looks delighted. Like the way that he's looking at her when she does that, they just match each other's freak. And I
She's
am
got
so
the
into
beautiful
it.
sentiment of just now I'll always know where to find her.
Right. And he's just like enchanted.
They also connect on like, because when he sees her sculpture and he like fills it up, I think is like a great comedic moment where she's like talking about the erotic curves that she's been making on these sculptures. And it seems like the joke's on her expense of that. Then she leaves the room and he's like, gives it like a sniff, this sculpture, like really like leans into it, which I think is just great. And obviously like reflects that kind of desire for connection that he's feeling.
They are a
Yeah.
wonderful pair.
They are.
As much as we talk about Ruth Gordon, I think that Bud Cort is great. Like you can't imagine someone else doing this. And he has that sort of like a very specific physicality.
He looks
to
like
it.
an alien.
Yeah. That's a less polite way of saying that.
He
Yeah.
looks like an alien. He's got such a great face. And like, I mostly know Bud Cort from one episode of Arrested Development.
Wait, who's he in Arrested Development?
You know the episode with mock trial with Judge Reinhold?
Yes.
At the end of the episode, like, that show's not working out. We got a new show. And Bud Cort shows up. I was like, everyone be seated for Bud Cort.
Which I had no idea. And now I understand. Thank you. This is like the experience of watching The Simpsons as an adult. It's perfect.
And I also know him as the bank stooge from The Life Aquatic.
Oh. That's Wes Anderson showing his influences then.
Yeah,
As heavy as he
100%.
can. Yeah.
He has such an interesting look, and it's why you do use him in a film like this.
Yeah.
Originally, they were after Elton John.
Which I also can kind of, obviously I don't think he'd be good for this, but I think visually you can maybe see where they were going.
visually, 100%.
They do look sort of
It'd be
something in it.
interesting. And like, I think he also wanted Elton John to do the music at one point.
This was like peak cocaine Elton John, though. I can't imagine that he would have like kept up a film schedule. So they never thought about having Cat Stevens play him.
No, but Cat Stevens has his little cameo.
Does he?
Is he the guy at the beginning who's like, while Maude is trying to get to Harold at the funeral and he's like looking annoyed?
Oh, okay.
I know Hal Ashby has a cameo. He's standing in between them when they're watching the model trains.
Yes.
Cool.
This sort of random beardy guy who it does seem odd that he's standing between them.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Well, yeah, you know, little cameos throughout.
Little, but I'm a cheerleader throwback that's not actually a throwback at all.
Very
is
forward.
Yeah, exactly. When he hangs himself in the opening scene, he's got this strand of saliva. And I was like, that strand of saliva, like the one in But I'm a Cheerleader, is a paid actor. It's doing a lot of work.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
And I just enjoyed it.
I'm sure Jamie Babbitt was like, bring it back. Bud, when you're coming to set today, can you bring in the saliva?
I thought he was so funny in this. My favorite moment is his really strategic fourth wall breaking moment. I think it's after he messes up the first setup and the girl runs screaming out of the room. I think this is the like fake self-immolation thing.
Yeah.
She runs screaming out of the room and it just slowly like zooms in on him and it's playing, spoiler, My Best Song. So it's like dun, 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 whatever. And he just looks into the camera and just has this like very subtle but very shit-eating grin.
Which was not in the script.
It's so
that
funny.
was one of two moments. That and him giving the finger to his mom after she sees what he's done to the car.
I like that. I also liked, I assume this was in the script, your hearse, yours.
Yeah.
That was great. That's a very Jack Gregson line.
It is.
We should mention on the script as well. I think it's interesting because the guy who wrote it is gay and died quite young of HIV, relatively early in that period. And it is interesting to think about this as being like a movie that is maybe talking about his experience. If you think it's about like a young man who feels he can't find a connection to society and there's something that he feels that isn't being accepted by other people. And then he meets someone who eventually becomes his lover who is of that connection and that they're able to make it together. I think there's certainly like a space for a reading of it. And I'm more inclined to be charitable to what I don't like in the kind of seriousness of the film if I read it like that than I am just reading it as it is, if that makes sense.
Wow, because the disapproval from the therapist, the family, the priest about this relationship that is inappropriate and bad.
And even like the priest specifically being like, I find it disgusting that you would be with this person.
But the priest is obviously into it.
Yeah, very much so. He's into Harold. I think we're supposed to take it as that.
Oh, wow.
Her sagging buttocks.
See, that was the bit where I was like, you're describing this a little too much for someone who is repulsed by it.
Yeah.
Because I don't tend to go into detailed descriptions of things that gross me out.
He's just thinking about this woman who stole his car twice.
Also, just a little throw out, Colin Higgins, the writer of the film, went on to write and direct 9 to 5.
Yeah.
And The Best Little Whorehouse in Texas.
Perfect films.
Both featuring Dolly Parton?
Yeah.
Yeah. Favorite line? I really liked, just on its own, the girl who runs away when he's being self-immolated, who studies poli-sci. Poli-sci, it's about what's going on. Is Harold interested in what's going on? And like as it's happening, he's like doing this absurd sort of like theater behind her. Yeah.
I actually thought it was very impressive that a woman in 1971 would be studying poli-sci.
She does say like, I'm going to fall back on my home ec.
Yeah.
Like I don't expect to have a job.
That's very practical.
Yeah. I did love that she's only doing the computer dating because she drew the short straw in her sorority.
Because she's hot. She's not going to have any problem getting dates, as she points out.
I love that everyone who comes is like not a weirdo. They're like just nice people. And he actually is just a deeply discomforting person to be around in many ways.
Yeah.
I feel especially bad for, the middle one,
who
seems very sweet and is just offended that he would do this rather than the actual content of what he's doing.
The least shocking death in the movie.
Weird, because it's obviously fake. Like, whereas the others, she thought he was actually on fire, and the other one actually died.
Potentially
I love
died.
the way she runs out just screaming, Harold! She's going to like put him out.
Yeah.
What a nice girl. She cares.
I like also that like Harold's mum in that scene is obviously also thinks she's a bit of an idiot.
Yes. Because Harold's standing right there.
She tells that really boring anecdote about her brother, who's a real cut-up. And she's like, yes. which is an Emily Gilmore moment for
What
sure.
does she say when Harold comes in and she's like, she was just telling us a story about
Walter Cronkite?
that was it.
Right.
I think it's weird that there are 2 films in a row on the list that involve a mother trying to set up an arranged marriage for her son against his will. The first one being The Big Sick, and then this one. And the film before that, Emma, involved basically the same thing, only her friend instead of her mother.
These have got to be like the all-time rom-com plots, though, right? About arranging a relationship in some way. You're going about like Shakespeare, like Twelfth Night and stuff.
Yeah, true. Very good point.
I like, and this isn't that funny, but I just like it. Again, feels like something I would say. Maude says, the earth is my body, my head is in the stars. And she goes, who said that, Harold? And Harold goes, I don't know. And Maude goes, oh, I suppose I did that.
Yeah, that's great.
I'm going to be annoyingly sincere with...
I mean, mine's slightly sincere.
That's true, but it's also kooky. I liked Maude's best bit of advice was everyone has the right to make an ass out of themselves. You can't judge the world too much.
Yeah, that's my favorite scene as well, when she does that song and she's not great, but there's like so much energy in it and you can really see what he sees in her in that moment, which I think, yeah, is like, that's to me is like the most successful bit of romance.
Maude has like 1,000 great lines. It was like, you have such a way with people. And she's like, oh, well, they're my species.
She's right.
I like when the cop looks in the back of the truck and he's like, stolen shovel. Just like that's added to the list of crimes.
Tom Skerritt as the cop is a great little
That's
cameo.
Tom Skerritt.
That's Tom
Wow,
Skerritt.
great. See, maybe I'm face blind.
The person they actually cast got injured in like the first take or something and they had to replace him.
And Tom Skerritt was just there.
Apparently.
Cool.
He's also credited under a different name and is wearing a big like sunglasses, helmet, and mustache.
So Amazon Prime describes the genre of this film as comedy, drama, understated, strange. And I wanted to ask, if you had to tag yourself, which one are you?
Strange.
Oh, I'm understated.
Jack. I thought it was underrated. I wanted to go back, but no, understated is also something I could not cop to. Yeah.
I guess I hate tagging myself as comedy.
Yeah, but you are.
Ugh.
Funny man, Jack Gregson.
Funny guy.
I'm obviously drama.
And who is understated?
None of us.
Well, on a podcast. I mean, it doesn't like shouting into the void. You know?
Understated is the space we leave for Jesus.
I just really like that the genre is strange.
I love those, like, when Netflix is like, oh, so you want to see a witty creature swap romance? And it's like, is there more than one?
Yes.
I mean, I would watch that, but...
Is that I might have to look that up later.
Where did you all think that he had actually killed himself?
No.
When the car went over the...
No.
Also,
See, I did.
Was it just a hooky copy or is there actually a freeze frame when the car goes over?
There's a freeze frame.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I was like, if they've wussed out to the point of killing her off, they're going to wuss out on killing him off. That was my guess.
See, I thought it was going to be real to sort of subvert our expectations because he had done all these fake ones. Like now it's real because now he's lost the reason to live, which was Maude. But them faking it out at the end, I realized was full circle. We start with a fake suicide, we end with a fake suicide. And he walks off into the sunset with a banjo. And it's like his hobby used to be staging fake suicides. And now his hobby is playing the banjo.
It definitely feels like the last one, right?
Right,
Yeah.
right.
And
It's
I also-
before Maude and after Maude.
It's the only one he does
BM.
that's just for
and AM.
him.
Right, you're right.
No
oh my
one else is
God.
in the room or whatever.
Yeah.
So that's like something.
It's not for him. It's for Maude.
Oh.
Yeah, but it's not for his mother. Wouldn't
Yeah.
say for her benefit.
Also, what a crazy week to have custom modded a car and then explode it. Just crazy, crazy week.
He's rich. It's fine.
Yeah.
I need to make a point on the car. I have a personal point.
Okay.
In the area I live, there's a WhatsApp group.
No.
Yes.
A neighborhood WhatsApp group?
Yeah, neighborhood WhatsApp group.
Oh, that's
you not
very
have one?
wholesome.
Oh,
No.
you should get one. I live in Walthamstow where everyone's full of themselves for living in Walthamstow, including me.
I live in Barnes and everybody's a fucking yoga mum.
Yeah.
And there's someone has started driving a hearse.
Hell yeah. So the rich kids really are doing this down in Barnes.
Someone's driving a I don't think it's a kid. I think it's an older woman.
Wow,
Even
that's
better.
dark.
And the hearse is painted white and with like gold tints.
Oh, I love it.
So it's an old lady who fucks, is what you're saying.
Yeah. And my favorite thing is like people on the WhatsApp group are very concerned and they're worried that the children might be scared. And I'm like, if I was a kid who grew up in Barnes. If I saw a hearse, I'd be like, cool.
Finally, something's happening in Barnes.
Gomez is here.
Yeah. Also, like, if I saw a white hearse, I'd be like, that's the Ectomobile. That's
Yeah,
Ghostbusters in
exactly.
here. Yeah.
Then watching this movie and being like, these people of Barnes couldn't deal with Harold and his shenanigans.
It's a good thing they have so much land, because if he lived in like a semi-detached house, setting a dummy of himself on fire would be a serious thing.
Mm-hmm.
He has plenty of grounds.
Best song?
It's probably one of the Cat Stevens ones.
Yeah, I was thinking that.
I think when Maude's rendition of that song, and then it's picked up later back in the soundtrack by Cat Stevens again. It is a Cat Stevens song that she's singing, right?
Yes, that was one that was written for the film.
It plays again, I think, as he's driving maybe over the edge of the cliff. I think it's that bit.
This is If You Want to Sing Out, Sing Out.
That's the one.
Yeah.
That's a good tune.
Mine is Where Did the Children Play, which I felt just had like a lot of thematic relevance to the motion picture.
Nice. I went with I Think I See the Light, which is the
From
one...
Tangled.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Which is playing over the fourth wall breaking moment that I mentioned. Would do, wouldn't do, have done?
So I would orchestrate an elaborate plan to prevent me from joining the army.
That was mine.
Yeah. Okay, I would help a friend with that plan.
Yeah.
Thank you. I'd push you down a hole.
I'd fall.
The way I phrased it in my notes was I would pretend to be an unhinged murderer to convince the army that I was unfit for service.
See, I just don't think it would work anymore.
Mm.
This is also the plot of the Arlo Guthrie song, Alice's Restaurant. Just saying. He does that and that works. Same war, only a couple of years before.
I also, if my friend suggested that we do something crazy, I would be like, we're going to need tools.
Yeah.
I think that is the right response.
I would steal a tree to replant it,
Yeah.
which I think is so reasonable.
Well, former head of environmental activities.
It's on my CV, Jack. Yeah. I was the Green King.
Good tracks, right?
Yeah.
Just who I am. There's plenty I wouldn't do.
Okay.
But here's my pitch, right? I wouldn't purposely waste a date's time. I think that's rude.
Mm.
I don't care if he's a counterculture figure who's trying to reject society. Be good to other people.
In his defense, he did not want his mom to invite them over.
Yeah.
I think she is wasting their time. He's actually trying to save them time by not going on the date.
Yeah, to be honest, they think they're going out with his mum because she
Yeah.
filled it out the form.
They get on pretty well.
Yeah.
All right, I wouldn't disrupt one of my mum's dates.
I wouldn't wear a matching outfit with my therapist.
I would.
I want some sort of distance between me and my therapist. I was curious, like, does the therapist have that, like, at his office? Like, change into our matching outfits and we can then talk because it will put us on an equal level.
It feels very Freud. I have two. I wouldn't say literally any of the words that the priest said in response to Harold's engagement, just not a single one.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's true.
It's pretty true. And my other one.
There's got to be some connective words like the and I that you would
Buttocks.
say
Yeah,
in
but
relation.
he's tainted them.
Yeah, okay. You just be mute.
That whole little speech was just awful. I would not shoot an old lady and a guy who looked like he could be a teenager for stealing a fucking motorcycle. He shoots at them. Well, he tries to, and then his gun jams or isn't loaded or
But
something.
would you do it if you were a cop?
No!
Are
Like,
you
that
sure?
is crazy. Like,
'Cause
using
cops
deadly
do crazy
force.
shit.
None of the other
Right.
cops do it, to be fair. It's just
That's
that
true.
one dude.
Because they don't steal their item.
But obviously, you can track it and get it back and arrest her. You do not shoot at them.
I would not have a picnic in a scrapyard. Tetanus boosters are not cheap. It'd be very loud. Also, like, I don't think picnics are that fun at the best of times and locations. I don't know, it just looks like not a great hang, to be completely frank. I
Yeah.
have had a picnic in a graveyard.
Oh,
Oh,
Abney
This guy.
Park. We love it. It's great. One of the best graveyards in the world. I actually went to a really good graveyard recently. I went to the graveyard in Copenhagen. It's where Niels Bohr is buried, for
Oh.
instance. The master of, one of the main inventors of quantum mechanics. So
a character from Oppenheimer.
he is in Oppenheimer, yeah. There you go.
What I have done is I have annoyed my mother.
Yeah, specifically about career choices.
Yeah.
Yeah,
oh, same.
yeah.
I have had people trying to set me up and just not been into it at all.
Yeah.
Yeah, when I was a freshman in college, my college roommate, who you know, Jack,
I know her.
was dating a sort of ROTC kind of military guy, and she tried to set me up with his roommate. So she invites me to this party. We were like, hello.
Eh?
That was the end of it.
Okay.
he was like hooking up with somebody else at that party like an hour later.
I'm just now picturing you sitting there while Taylor like puts together your computer dating profile.
Do you think women should be allowed to vote? Absolutely.
Yes, I don't see why not.
It's so well performed.
When we get to the rom-com Braydow, my score for supporting characters is basically just for her. I love her.
Remind me of this scoring mechanism.
Well, I will
Okay.
in but a moment.
Oh, sorry, I'm jumping ahead.
Now.
Okay. Do you have ad breaks? Can we do an ad break?
Thank
after
you
this?
for waiting. The rom-com Braydow, which stands for romantic comedy breakdown.
It's genius, right?
Genius. Yeah, it's really good.
Brilliant.
This is a scientifically accurate scoring system in which we take elements from.
Let me just start writing this down, Jack.
Yeah, that's right.
You got a ruler or something?
I've got a compass,
That's
but only.
It's the direction kind.
Yeah, it's the direction guide. We rate the film out of 5 on its leads and their chemistry, then the supporting characters, and then the plot. And then we've got the rom-com scale, which is a scale from 0 to 100. 0 means it's more romantic. 100 means it's more comedic. 50 being the ultimate balance of rom and com.
These are robust measures, guys.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, you know.
Well, this is science.
This was
Yeah.
Niels Bohr approved.
It's also the whole point of the podcast is we're trying to work out what is a rom-com.
Yeah.
What is a good rom-com?
Because we haven't discovered what love is yet.
We couldn't possibly figure that out.
No. I mean, just in general.
I think a podcast is probably not the way to get there as well, right?
It's what everyone else does.
Leads and chemistry. Is that
Yeah.
like, that's like the chemistry between them? That's one thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, but also like leads and chemistry. It's like them and their chemistry.
I would give it like, so I would probably give like a 5 for the leads. I think they're great performances and really well pitched and also like well cast, which I think is something we don't always give credit to. I think they're great leads. I think the chemistry between them is pretty bad. I actually don't buy them as a romantic couple, and that's one of my main problems with their pairing. So I would give like a 5 and a 1, a classic IMDb rating score.
Equals out to a 2.5.
2.5, yeah, correct. So I'm just going to write this down.
Or a 3 if you're doing 5 plus 1 is 6 divided by 2 is 3.
Okay.
So
That
is it
is
feel like a
correct.
2.5 or does it feel like a 3
Well,
to
actually
you?
feels like a 2.
Wow.
I would argue. I want to round down on this one, but I'll give it a 2.5
Okay.
because I like false accuracy. It's like one of the things.
I've always said about you, false
Yeah.
accuracy. It's why your pregnancy test business went bust.
That's such a good joke, Jack. That's so accurate a joke. That's so good.
It's also deeply upsetting, deeply triggering to the woman in the room. My life flashed before my eyes.
Supporting actors, that's like a 4.
Oh.
Yeah, because a lot of really good turns, but no one I love. And in a rom-com supporting actor, I want someone who I'm like, give me their movie.
This
You
is
know?
something we've been saying. Like, the easiest section on this list should be the supporting actors.
Ideally, like the main could be like kind of bland.
Yeah.
And you're really there for like their gay best friend, fundamentally.
100%.
You're there for Andy Serkis in 13 Going on 30, who like is one of my gold standards for like someone who has no business being as present in the film as he is.
You're there for Jason Alexander and Shallow Hal.
You're there for Carrie Fisher in When Harry Met Sally.
You are. You are there for Carrie Fisher.
That you could walk in her shoes. What a blessing. Plot? I'm going to give that a 1. This movie's got
Interesting.
very little plot.
Hmm.
Let's be real. Very little happens. That description that you read of the film is actually just the premise of the film, right? There's no description of the plot in there whatsoever because
Yeah.
nothing fucking happens.
Yeah, it is only premise.
And indeed, they're only there for a week.
The only sort of like plot kind of kicks in the last 2 minutes when she's like, I took the pills, and he's like, what?
And then there's no more dialogue in the rest of the film.
Yeah, but like then you're like, okay, now we got to get her to the hospital. We got
I think the almost getting conscription into the military is threatening at times to become a plot, but
Yeah.
doesn't really. It becomes a comedic set piece, which is fine. So yeah, I've actually given this pretty low ratings.
Yeah.
Not to be harsh.
That's okay.
So I'm going to give this a 7.5 out of 15, which is actually smack bang in the middle. What do you think?
I mean, I gave the leads a 4. I like their sort of like oddball chemistry, and I think they are insanely well cast. I also gave supporting a 4, mostly again for the mum and also for the uncle.
Yeah.
I kind of wanted just more characters. I wanted to see them bump up against more people.
I think I would also like the characters to be more consistently used.
Yeah.
Because there's like the bit that doesn't work for me is like the long bit in the middle where it's just them chatting.
Yeah.
And I would love some action, some supporting character moments.
That's
to
where
kind
you
of
get
drive that.
Where you get Tom Skerritt.
Give me more Tom.
And then plot, I've gone for a 3. Because, yeah, it is a little meandering, but I do think that's kind of the point. Nora?
I was very similar. I gave leads a 5.
Mm-hmm.
I think their chemistry is great.
Wow, I'm in trouble here. Getting outvoted.
Yeah.
I'm the minority report.
I went 4 for supporting as well because I love the mom and I love the 3 dates, particularly Sunshine Doré,
Yeah.
Big slay.
who is an icon. And I did go 3 for
You
story.
are the West Virginian Sunshine Doré.
No, I'm not. How dare you?
You
But
look
I love
great in
her.
that hat.
Apparently, the
Cool
woman
hat.
who played Sunshine Doré, so this was adapted into a stage play.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And she eventually got to play Maude and her daughter played Sunshine,
Oh, cool.
which is really sweet.
Yeah. He originally wrote it as a play.
Yeah.
Before it was,
Mm.
and
And
he
then a
wrote it as a
book.
novel as well. Yeah.
And do you know where it's really popular? France.
They love it in France.
They love it.
They've made it twice on TV in France,
Yeah.
which is crazy. And
Nice.
that's where the play ran originally. So he was asked by a French theatre director to write it.
Also, like
for France.
it ran in like an American rep cinema for like 3 years running, to the point where the local town had to sign a petition to get them to stop playing because they're like, we want something else.
It's something we haven't really talked about. Is like this is like one of the kind of cult films of all
Yeah.
time. Like one of the
Mm.
films that kind of set the tone for what that would be, and happened to happen at a time where that was starting to become something that people were recognizing. Like
It's
I think
new
Rocky
Hollywood.
Horror is like 3 years after this, so it's
Yeah.
like sort of
Oh,
that period.
It's around The Graduate as well.
I like this one a lot more than I like The Graduate.
Oh, interesting. I love The Graduate.
So you guys scored almost exactly the same.
Yeah, I just
We
went
do
higher
often.
on leads and chemistry. Should we rom-com scale?
Yes.
This one's interesting to me because you guys were saying your quest is ultimately to find out what the rom-com genre is, right?
Mhm.
I think rom-com is like a separate genre to like romance or comedy on its own.
Mhm.
I found this hard to triangulate because I was like, this one's very funny and it's also very romantic, but I don't think it's a very good rom-com in like the genre sense. It's not structurally rom-com related, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Well, it is actually. It is actually structurally
Oh, they do have
pretty
a meet
much
cute.
a rom
You're
com. They
right.
have
Yeah,
a meet cute.
okay.
Like the thing that makes it not a rom com in maybe the most traditional sense is that they don't end up together.
I also think the comedy isn't derived from their relationship or like them getting in and out of it.
Some of it is.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah,
Some of it, like the scene where everybody reacts to the marriage,
Mhm.
Yeah.
that is comedy deriving from it. I forgot one of my favorite lines is when Harold's telling his mom he's getting married and he hands her the picture and she goes, "Oh, very funny, Harold, you're marrying a sunflower." And he just has to turn it around.
But metaphorically, she's
Yeah.
right.
Yeah, I know.
Wow.
But
Wow.
it's just such. I like how just dismissive she like.
She's so not up for his bullshit.
Think of all the jokes he's made, and this is like the least in his wheelhouse of just being like, yeah, here's the picture of my wife. It's a sunflower.
As if that, yeah.
He's really run out of ideas.
Yeah, it's a lot less morbid than the rest of his.
So I'm glad you've left prop comedy behind, but this is so conceptual. I'm kind of having trouble finding the fun. I'm going to go out on a limb and, for me, say that it's more of a rom.
Okay.
I think the romance stuff is like what the film is most interested in when it comes to their relationship. And I think the comedy stuff is often more about people's reaction to them individually rather than the relationship itself. That's my pitch. I'm going to give it a 35.
I've gone for a 60. At least when I'm watching it, I am more caught up in the comedy than the relationship. And that's my favorite part of the movie. I like the manic pixie dream girl of it all, and I do think there is good chemistry between the leads, but more than anything, the scenes I really enjoy are the ones between Harold and his mum, and Harold and his uncle. Yeah, so I lent more to the 60.
I went 40.
Oh,
I would have said 50 if she had not died at the end.
Right.
But with the caveat that it's a very unconventional rom-com.
I also think this kind of predates the classification of rom-com. Like, I don't think we were really calling them that. Like, you had like screwball comedies that had a romantic element, and you had like farces and things that were often had romances in them.
yeah, I'm interested because we've got older movies on the list.
Yeah.
And I'm curious how they're going to play because you've got stuff like His Girl Friday and
The
The
Apartment.
Apartment and It Happened One Night, which I think is the oldest one on the list.
I think they sort of like, for me, the codification of rom-com is like the 80s. And that's why when you see a lot of like genre codification, like arguably like the action movie kind of came into its own
Yeah.
in the 80s, in the same way that like it's not always just about like does it balance those elements, but like, how does the audience expect those elements to show up?
When Niels Bohr put together this
Yeah.
rating system,
Niels Bohr was walking through Copenhagen thinking, can the rom-com really be as absurd as we think it is?
when he put this together, he knew it wasn't going to be perfect, but it was the only way that we could sort of talk about this in a sort of like modern society.
Jack, do you know what Niels Bohr's contribution to quantum mechanics was? Because you've actually almost described it. He was an instrumentalist. He was like, quantum physics isn't real. It's just a really good way of describing what's actually going on.
Yeah.
So you have just made that perfect.
I'm not surprised.
I'm a Renaissance man.
Very understated of you.
Well, thank you so much for coming on the show.
Hey, thanks for having me.
Is there anything you'd like to plug?
Jack, I've got 2 new short films coming out. I've got one short called Bruiser that stars the fab Luke Rollason and Hyder Ali from Extraordinary and Warfare, respectively.
Luke Rollason, who has often worked with former guests of this show, Faye McKeever, who helped him with his costume for the posters he was doing, the Comedian.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, great.
Yeah.
I mean, the drip is great. When we asked Luke if he could help supply some of his own costume, he's like, I don't own normal people clothes. So, yeah, we did have to get them in for him. He's probably kept them for, like, if he wants to, I don't know, a job interview or something. Bruiser has also got my old pug in it.
Beautiful.
And he takes a shit on screen.
Luke or the pug?
The pug, in this instance. Yeah.
I like that you felt the need to answer.
I wanted to stop and think if I should answer or not. I don't want to give too much away. Yeah, no festival wants to screen it, and maybe it's something to do with the shitting on screen. Hard to say.
Why for John Waters?
Yeah, that's what I said to them, but, John's his own guy. And the other film, Grotty Gamer Girl, is still in post, but stars the wonderful Ruth Codd from Celebrity Traitors.
Oh, man.
So, yeah, if you want to see Ruth scream at teens online and invent some new swear words, then that's the movie.
I do want to see that.
So do I. It's not finished yet.
Definitely check this out. Will's work is I'm always constantly amazed by everything Will's doing.
My work is comedy, drama, understated, and
strange.
Yeah. It's more frequently strange than understated, but yeah.
This has been When Rom Met Com. You can find us on Instagram and TikTok at When Rom Met Com. There are links there to the Vanity Fair article, to our letterboxd, and any other fun things we've found and want to share. You can DM us or send us an email at mail@whenrommet.com. Get it? We'd love to hear your thoughts on the films, what rom-coms you think should have made the list, your best would-dos, wouldn't-dos, and have-dones, or anything else you'd like to hear about. If you had a nice time today, please consider leaving us a review or following us wherever you get your podcasts. Next time, we'll be discussing the idea of you. Thanks for listening, and remember, we don't hate you. Not even a little bit. Not even at all. See you next time.
I think the hardest thing to say in like a posh English accent is water bottle. Water bottle. Water bottle.
I think the hardest thing to say is goodbye.
Damn. Now that's understated.